So this was something I saw coming. Whether or not this was the phantom IR situation or not, I don't know. I don't know whether or not Donnel Pumphrey is actually hurt. But Pumphrey heading to the injured reserve. As we know, really struggled during the preseason. Carried the ball 26 times for only 49 yards, a paltry 1.9 yards per carry. So Donnel Pumphrey really struggled. Now he's on IR. So Eagles, obviously, they kept 5 running backs. They had, if they wanted Pumphrey on the roster, they had to put him on the team first before putting him on IR. If you would have put him on IR before the final cuts, he would have been subject to waivers and potentially could have gotten picked up by somebody. All right, so here's what this video is going to be about. Okay, so at the time, I understand what the Eagles were trying to do. They just picked the wrong player for what they were trying to do. They were trying to find a replacement for Darren Sproles. And Donnel Pumphrey is a guy that really doesn't run routes well, from what I saw on tape. If you go back and watch my film study, I talked about that. He did a lot of his running in between the tackles, a la kind of like Warrick Dunn back in the day. So Donnel Pumphrey didn't remind me of Darren Sproles at all. He reminded me of Warrick Dunn and the way he played. He didn't remind me of Sproles at all. I did not see any explosiveness out of his route running when I didn't see any of that. So I get what they were trying to do. Now, you can make the argument there were a lot of great running backs in this class, and the Eagles should have went somewhere else. Absolutely. Like, freaking hell. Because you even look at the guys drafted after him, Jamal Williams, Wayne Gallman, Marlon Mack is a better Darren Sproles than Donnel Pumphrey. I mean, you can go even going down to the 7th round. You got Chris Carson out of Seattle, and he looked impressive in week 1. So you got all these running backs, and they all look great. Now, here's what I'll say, too. I'm not changing the way the Eagles drafted either. I like what they did, you know? I like Derek Barnett in the 1st round. I'm not going to take Dalvin Cook or Joe Mixon ahead of Sidney Jones, so I'm still taking Sidney Jones in the 2nd round. They put us in a position where we have to take a running back early in 2018. I honestly don't think he was supposed to be a replacement for Sproles. I think he just assumed that because there was no. He was the replacement in the passing game for Darren Sproles. That's what he was. That's what he was drafted for. Because Sproles is going to retire after next year. So, yeah, I mean, listen, the Eagles are going to get their running back. It's going to be next year. It's going to be in the 1st round. It's a great running back class. The later round picks are about potential. What can you do for me now? Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, the running backs next year, that's where the Eagles are going to go, because that's where you got Saquon Barkley, you got Darius Geis, Bo Scarborough, Royce Freeman, I mean, Nick Chubb. You can go down and down the line. So the Eagles will get their running back. It's going to be next year. Now, the other thing I want to say is this, all right? I'm playing the opposite role here, all right? Just to try and keep it realistic a little bit, because I want to go back to Darren Sproles and what he did his rookie season. It took Darren Sproles like 3 years to make an impact. Ronald Jones, yeah, I mean, he's another guy that has potential as well. This running back class is very deep. That kid from USC. So where is Darren Sproles? Like, Darren Sproles only had like 8 receptions or something. It was like 3 receptions for 10 yards his rookie year. He didn't do anything. It took him a couple years. Like, it could be possible that Donnel Pumphrey's mind is just overloaded with information at this time, because Doug Peterson had him everywhere this preseason, like slot, in the backfield, everywhere. So you do have to give him time to an extent, but I mean, he didn't look good either. Like, all right, I finally found Sproles' stats. Here we go. So 2005, his rookie year, 3 receptions for 10 yards, 8 rushes for 50. It was year 3 where he really started making an impact. So, actually, year 4, when he was 25. So, it took Sproles a while. So, there you go. I mean, there's 2 things here. One, Donnel Pumphrey looks like shit, and I don't really think he's going to amount to anything. But 2, I mean, you also have to give it time because of what I saw in the preseason. And, you know, you had him lining up in the slot. You had him with Darren Sproles in the pony sets. You had him in all these different packages and formations. I think his head was spinning, you know. But he still might not be any good, you know, obviously. So there you go. I just wanted to take a different approach in this video, that's all. Not that I'm a Donnel Pumphrey fan at all. I like our corners pressing, or at least not being that far off the ball. I think the wide receiver class is great too. Yeah. So next year, running back, it's going to happen. Donnel Pumphrey stinks. He does. He does stink. I don't have any hope for him moving forward, but you know, I've seen plenty of instances where, you know, a guy struggled in preseason and then, you know, found it out and actually had a good career. Do I have confidence in Donnel Pumphrey? Not really. I just don't see it, you know. But at the same time, you do have to give him time, I guess. Yeah, he does look bad, doesn't he? All right, let me read off all the running backs that were drafted after Donnel Pumphrey. To be honest, Byron Marshall was better and probably a better replacement for Sproles. I think you can find a better guy than Byron Marshall, though. Jamal Williams, Wayne Gallman, Marlon Mack, Brian Hill, Jeremy McNichols, T.J. Logan, Aaron Jones, Elijah McGuire. Elijah McGuire was somebody I liked. He was on the Jets. He had a good preseason. D'Angelo Henderson, Devontae Mays, Khalafi Muhammad, Elijah Hood, Chris Carson, and Melvin Days. So there you go. I mean, if you look at a lot of these names, like, I'm sure a lot of these guys didn't really have an impact either. But McGuire looks good. I liked him. I like Chris Carson. I like Jeremy McNichols, Marlon Mack, the kid from the USF. So, who do we promote from the practice squad? I think, did any of these guys have an impact first game? Too small, Phantom IR, nothing compared to Sproles. Can't be successful in the offense. Too small, Fed tour. Too long of a comment there. The way he didn't look like he was playing instinctively, you know. Trade for McCoy. Yeah, that juke move against the net was nasty. You want McCoy? That'll be on the first episode. We'll have to get into that. Donnel Pumphrey stinks. He stinks. I'll tell you what, all these guys that were drafted before Donnel Pumphrey looked good. Oh. But, yeah. Mostert over Pumphrey. I will, we'll see next preseason. We'll see how he looks next preseason. If he looks like shit again, then okay, cut bait, cut him. That's what I'll say. I don't know about that, man. There's a lot of those preseason guys that, you know, they do well in the preseason, then they don't really. Do you trust Wendell Smallwood? Do I trust Wendell Smallwood? I feel like he's like a one-cut runner and go downhill, but the Eagles are trying to use him like outside the tackles and outside the boundary. I understand why, because you have LeGarrette Blount, but Dante Foreman would have been great. See, what they were trying to do, again, like I was saying earlier in the video, they were trying to find the replacement for Darren Sproles. You can't really trust a man with last name Smallwood. Love Foreman in Combine. Foreman, Foreman's like another LeGarrette Blount, basically. So, will Nelson Aguilar become better in Not yet. All right. I think that about wraps it up. Donnel Pumphrey. Phantom IR, although I think he did legitimately get hurt. I think it sounds like he did legitimately get hurt. But, yeah, the timing is funny because this is the timing of a Phantom IR situation. But, all right, guys, I'm going to hop out. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.